What if I told you that the foods most of us were taught to avoid, the fatty ones, the rich ones, the ones our doctors used to shake their fingers at, are actually some of the best things you can eat after 60? I know, that might surprise you. It surprised me too. But the science has shifted. And at 81 years old, living on my own, cooking my own meals, and feeling better than I did in my 60s, I want to share what I've learned and what I eat with you. Today, I'm going to walk you through 10 of the very best foods for us. Foods with zero carbs or almost none and no added sugar. Foods that protect your muscles, sharpen your mind, keep your heart going strong, and help you stay independent for as long as possible. And stick with me, because near the end, I'm going to share the one thing most people over 70 get completely wrong about eating healthy. And it's probably not what you think. It could be the reason you're feeling tired or weak, even when you think you're eating well. So settle in. Make yourself a cup of tea. This is going to be a good one. Food 1. Eggs. I eat eggs almost every single day. And I have absolutely no guilt about it. For years, eggs had a bad reputation. People were told the yolk was dangerous, that it would raise your cholesterol and hurt your heart. Many of us threw away the yolk and ate only the white, or we stopped eating eggs altogether. Well, that advice has been largely walked back by the scientific community. Eggs are now recognized as one of the most nutritious foods on the planet. And for older adults especially, they are close to a miracle food. Here's why. Eggs are packed with something called complete protein. That means they contain all the essential amino acids your body needs to build and repair muscle. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass. It's called sarcopenia, and we need more protein than younger people, not less, to slow that process down. One large egg gives you about 6 grams of high-quality protein. Eggs also contain something called leucine, which is a specific amino acid that actually triggers your muscles to start building. Think of leucine as the spark that lights the fire. And the yolk? The yolk contains choline, which is a nutrient that supports brain health and memory. It also contains vitamin D, which most of us don't get enough of, and which is critical for bone strength and immune function. The yolk has lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 nutrients that protect your eyes from macular degeneration, one of the leading causes of vision loss in older adults. Eggs have essentially 0 carbohydrates and no added sugar. They're quick to prepare, easy to chew, gentle on the stomach, and inexpensive. Scrambled, poached, hard-boiled, or in an omelette with vegetables, they're endlessly versatile. If your doctor has specifically told you to limit eggs due to a health condition, please follow their guidance. But for most of us, 1 or 2 eggs a day is a wonderful habit. Coming up next, I'm going to share a food that most people think of as a treat. But it may actually be one of the best things you can eat for your heart and your brain. Food 2, fatty fish salmon, sardines, mackerel, trout, herring. These are what we call fatty fish, and they are absolutely extraordinary for our health. The reason comes down to omega-3 fatty acids. These are a type of healthy fat that our bodies cannot make on their own. We have to get them from food. And omega-3s do something remarkable. They reduce inflammation throughout the body. Now, inflammation is a word you hear a lot. Let me explain what it means in plain terms. When your body is fighting an injury or infection, it sends in a kind of internal fire crew, that's inflammation, to fix the problem. That's a good thing in the short term. But when inflammation becomes chronic, meaning it never fully switches off, it quietly damages tissues, stiffens blood vessels, clouds the brain, and weakens joints over time. Chronic inflammation is at the root of heart disease, arthritis, cognitive decline, and more. Omega-3s help turn down that internal fire. They make the brain work better. There's real research showing they can help slow memory decline. They reduce joint pain and stiffness. They lower triglycerides, a type of fat in the blood that raises heart disease risk. They help protect the lining of blood vessels. And here is something that really matters for us. Omega-3s help preserve muscle. New research shows that these fats help your body respond better to the protein you eat, which means more of that protein goes toward rebuilding muscle rather than being broken down. Fatty fish also contains virtually zero carbohydrates and no sugar. Aim for 2 or 3 servings of fatty fish per week. A serving is roughly the size of your palm, about 3 to 4 ounces. Fresh wild-caught salmon is wonderful, but it can be expensive. Canned salmon and canned sardines are just as nutritious, very affordable, and have a long shelf life. I keep a few cans in my pantry at all times. A can of sardines with some mustard and cucumber slices is one of my favorite quick lunches. If you truly cannot eat fish, talk to your doctor about whether an omega-3 supplement might be appropriate for you. Let's pause for just a moment. I want to ask you something directly. How are your energy levels these days? Do you find yourself feeling tired in the afternoon, even when you've slept well? Do you feel like your strength isn't what it used to be? If you answered yes to any of those, keep watching, because several of the foods I'm sharing today are specifically powerful for fighting fatigue and building back strength. You may not have to feel that way. Food 3, leafy green vegetables. Spinach, kale, arugula, Swiss chard, collard greens, romaine lettuce. These are the leafy greens, and they are as close to a superfood as anything in nature. Leafy greens are extremely low in carbohydrates and contain no sugar worth mentioning. But what they do contain is extraordinary. They are loaded with vitamin K, which is essential for healthy bones. Most people know that calcium is important for bones, but vitamin K is equally important. It helps direct calcium to your bones rather than your arteries. Many older adults are deficient in vitamin K and don't even know it. Leafy greens contain magnesium, which supports muscle function, nerve health, and sleep quality. They contain folate, which supports brain health and helps protect against depression. They are full of fiber, which feeds the good bacteria in your gut, supports healthy digestion, and helps you feel satisfied without spiking your blood sugar. They also contain nitrates, the natural kind found in plants, which your body converts into a compound that relaxes and widens your blood vessels. This helps lower blood pressure and improves circulation. One study found that older adults who ate leafy greens regularly had significantly slower rates of cognitive decline compared to those who rarely ate them. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, I've never been a big salad person. Or maybe raw greens are hard on your digestion. Here is the good news. You don't have to eat salads. Cooked greens are just as nutritious, often more digestible, and very easy to prepare. Saute a handful of spinach in a little olive oil and garlic for 5 minutes. It wilts down to almost nothing and tastes wonderful. Add it to scrambled eggs, to soup, to any dish you're already making. You can sneak a big handful of spinach into almost anything. If chewing is a concern, soft cooked greens are very easy on the teeth and gums. And blending a small amount of spinach into a smoothie with some protein powder and berries is completely tasteless. The color is green, but you cannot taste it at all. Food 4. Avocado, a quick story. When I was growing up in the 1950s, avocados were considered exotic. My mother didn't know what to do with them. She thought anything that fatty couldn't possibly be good for you. Now, all these decades later, avocados are recognized as one of the most nourishing foods on earth, and I eat half of one most mornings. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fat, the same kind found in olive oil. This type of fat is heart-friendly. It helps lower the bad kind of cholesterol, LDL, and raise the good kind, HDL. It reduces inflammation. It keeps your cell membranes flexible and healthy. Avocados are also one of the best sources of potassium, actually higher in potassium than a banana, with far less sugar and far fewer carbohydrates. Potassium is critical for heart rhythm, muscle function, and keeping blood pressure in a healthy range. They contain magnesium, vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects your cells, and a remarkable amount of fiber for a fruit. That fiber slows digestion, keeps blood sugar steady, and keeps you full for hours. And avocados contain what researchers call oleocanthal in their oil component, a natural compound with anti-inflammatory effects. For those of us watching our weight, here is something important. Despite being high in fat and calories, avocados do not cause weight gain when eaten in reasonable portions. The healthy fat and fiber together are so filling that people who eat avocados regularly tend to eat less overall. Half an avocado with a little salt and lemon juice is a perfect snack. Mash it onto a low-carb cracker or a slice of cucumber. Add chunks of it to a salad, or simply eat it with a spoon. The texture is soft and gentle, which makes it wonderful for anyone who has trouble with chewing. Food 5. Chicken thighs and other poultry. I want to say something that might go against what you've been told. For years, health advice said, eat the white meat. Skinless chicken breast only. The dark meat has too much fat. But here is what that advice missed. Chicken thighs, the dark meat, contain more zinc, more iron, more B vitamins, and more of those important amino acids that build muscle compared to the white breast meat. They also contain more fat, yes, but it is largely unsaturated fat, and it makes the chicken far more moist, more tender, and easier to cook without drying out. For older adults, dry rubbery chicken can be very difficult to chew and swallow. Chicken thighs are a natural solution. They stay juicy even if you cook them a few minutes longer. They are more forgiving in the kitchen. Protein from poultry is complete protein. It contains all the essential amino acids your body needs. And getting enough protein is one of the single most important nutritional priorities for anyone over 60. Why? Because sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle that begins in middle age, accelerates significantly after 65. Research suggests that older adults need anywhere from 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight each day. That is significantly more than the old recommended amounts, which were designed for younger adults. If you don't get enough protein, your body takes what it needs from your own muscle tissue. This is called catabolism, and it is one of the primary reasons people become frail as they age. Chicken, turkey, duck, all excellent choices. Zero carbohydrates, no sugar, rich in muscle-protecting protein. Roast a batch on Sunday, and you'll have easy protein-rich meals ready all week long. Food. 6. Beef and red meat. I know some of you might hesitate at this one. Red meat has had a troubled reputation for a long time. But the story is more complicated than red meat is bad, and I want to set the record straight. The research that originally linked red meat to heart disease was based largely on processed meats. Hot dogs, deli meats, fast food burgers, sausages full of sodium and preservatives. Unprocessed red meat, a simple beefsteak, a lamb chop, ground beef cooked at home, tells a very different story. Beef is one of the most nutrient-dense foods on earth, and several of those nutrients matter enormously for us. Vitamin B12 is one. As we age, our stomachs produce less acid, which means we absorb B12 less efficiently. A deficiency can cause fatigue, weakness, balance problems, and cognitive decline. Beef is one of the richest natural sources available. Then there's zinc, which supports immune function, something that naturally weakens as we get older, and creatine, a compound your muscles and brain use for energy. Most of your creatine comes from red meat, and studies show that higher creatine levels in older adults support both strength and cognitive performance. Zero carbohydrates, no sugar, just real dense nutrition. Choose unprocessed cuts. Cook them simply, grilled, roasted, or pan-cooked. And if your doctor has advised you to limit red meat for a specific condition, please follow their guidance. But for most of us, Eating it a few times a week is not something to feel guilty about. If you're finding this helpful, would you do me a small kindness? Hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments, which food on this list surprised you most? I read every single one. Food 7, full-fat Greek yogurt. Wait, isn't yogurt full of sugar? The flavored kinds, yes, absolutely. Those little cups of strawberry or vanilla yogurt that line the grocery store shelves are often loaded with added sugar. Some of them have more sugar than a candy bar. But plain, full-fat Greek yogurt is an entirely different food. It has very few carbohydrates, typically between 4 and 7 grams per serving, all from naturally occurring lactose, not added sugar. And if you're sensitive to lactose, here is interesting news. The fermentation process that makes Greek yogurt breaks down most of the lactose, making it far easier to digest than the regular milk for many people. Greek yogurt is exceptionally high in protein, often 17 to 20 grams in a single cup. That protein is in a form called casein, which is a slow-digesting protein. This means it releases amino acids gradually over several hours, which is wonderful for overnight muscle repair. One of the reasons a small serving before bed can be very beneficial for older adults. Greek yogurt also contains probiotics. These are life-beneficial bacteria that support gut health, immune function, and even mood. There is growing research connecting gut health to brain health, and probiotics appear to play a role in that connection. And full-fat Greek yogurt contains calcium and vitamin D, both critical for bone density. Why full fat rather than low fat? Because the fat carries the fat-soluble vitamins, helps you absorb the calcium, and keeps you satisfied longer. The low-fat versions often compensate for the loss of flavor by adding sugar. Full fat is the more nutritious, more satisfying choice. Eat it plain, add a few walnuts or a handful of berries. Use it in place of sour cream. It's versatile, gentle on the stomach, and deeply nourishing. Food 8, nuts and seeds. Walnuts, almonds, pecans, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, small foods, enormous nutrition. Nuts are low in carbohydrates, free of added sugar, and packed with healthy fats, protein, and the vitamins and minerals your body quietly depends on every single day. Walnuts are worth a special mention. They are one of the very few plant foods with meaningful omega-3 fatty acids, the same anti-inflammatory fats found in salmon. They also contain vitamin E and the natural antioxidants that protect your cells. Studies have linked regular walnut eating to better memory and lower rates of depression in older adults. Almonds are wonderful for your bones, rich in calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. And pumpkin seeds are one of the best plant sources of zinc and magnesium, plus tryptophan, which supports better sleep. One practical note, nuts are calorie-dense, so one small handful a day is plenty. That's about 20 almonds or 14 walnut halves. If chewing is difficult, try natural nut butter with no added sugar, all the goodness, none of the crunch. Food 9. Olive oil. This is not technically a food you eat on its own, but it is so important that I had to include it. Extra virgin olive oil is arguably the most well-researched healthy fat on the planet. It is the cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, which is consistently ranked as one of the most health-protective dietary patterns ever studied. Zero carbohydrates, zero sugar, pure liquid fat, and the right kind. The primary fat in olive oil is oleic acid, a monounsaturated fat that has powerful anti-inflammatory properties. But what makes extra virgin olive oil especially remarkable is a compound called oleocanthal, which acts similarly to ibuprofen, a common pain reliever, in reducing inflammation in the body. Researchers believe this natural compound is one of the reasons the Mediterranean diet is so effective at reducing the risk of heart disease, cognitive decline, and certain cancers. Olive oil also contains polyphenols, powerful antioxidants that protect blood vessels, slow cellular aging, and support brain function. For older adults, olive oil has another critical benefit. It helps your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins, vitamins A, D, E, and K. When you drizzle olive oil over your leafy greens, you actually absorb significantly more nutrients from those greens than if you ate them dry or with a fat-free dressing. Use extra virgin olive oil generously. Cook your eggs in it. Drizzle it over vegetables before roasting. Dip cucumber slices in it. Pour it over fish. Use it as your primary cooking fat whenever possible. The key word is extra virgin. That label means the oil was cold-pressed from olives without heat or chemicals, preserving all those beneficial compounds. Regular or light olive oil lacks most of these benefits. 1 or 2 tablespoons a day is a wonderful goal. Food 10, bone broth. And this brings us to our final food, and it's one that goes back centuries. Bone broth is made by simmering animal bones, chicken, beef, pork, or fish, in water for a long time, typically many hours. What this long cooking process does is draw out a remarkable array of nutrients from the bones themselves. The result is a rich, savory liquid that is extremely low in carbohydrates, has no added sugar, and is packed with things our aging bodies desperately need. First, collagen. As we age, our bodies produce less and less collagen, the protein that gives structure to our skin, tendons, ligaments, and cartilage. Joint pain is often a sign of declining collagen. Bone broth contains gelatin, which is what collagen becomes when cooked. Consuming gelatin and collagen peptides has been shown in research to support joint health, reduce joint pain, and improve skin elasticity. Second, glycine. This is an amino acid found abundantly in bone broth. Glycine supports deep sleep. It has been shown in studies to help people fall asleep faster, sleep more soundly, and awake feeling more rested. For those of us who struggle with sleep, this is worth knowing. Third, minerals. The long cooking process pulls calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and other trace minerals directly from the bones into the broth in a form that is highly absorbable. Fourth, gut healing compounds. The gelatin in bone broth has long been recognized as soothing and restorative for the digestive tract. It supports the lining of the gut, which can become more permeable with age, a condition sometimes called leaky gut, and may help reduce digestive discomfort. You can buy bone broth ready-made. Look for brands with no added sugar and low sodium, or you can make it yourself from chicken carcasses or beef bones, which is very economical. A slow cooker makes this entirely effortless. Put in the bones, cover with water, add a splash of apple cider vinegar to help draw out the minerals, and cook on low for 12 to 24 hours. Sip it warm from a mug like tea. Use it as the base for soups and stews. Cook your vegetables in it for extra flavor and nutrition. It's gentle, warming, deeply nourishing, and feels like a hug from the inside. The payoff. The one thing most people over 70 get wrong. I promised you this at the very beginning, so here it is. The biggest mistake I see older adults make when they try to eat healthier, the one thing that undermines so much of their effort, is not eating enough protein, not eating too little fruit, not eating too many carbs, not eating too much fat, not eating enough protein. Here's how it usually happens. Someone over 70 wants to eat healthier, so they cut back on portions, they eat smaller meals, they choose salads and light soups, they try to eat less. And on paper, that sounds sensible. But what actually happens is that they dramatically undereat protein, because a small salad has almost no protein. A cup of broth has very little, a piece of toast has none. And as the weeks go by, their body, which needs more protein than ever to maintain muscle, starts to break down muscle tissue to get the amino acids it needs. They feel weaker, more tired, less stable on their feet. They think it's just age, but often it's protein deficiency in disguise. Research now fairly consistently suggests that people over 65 need somewhere between 1.2 and 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every day. To put that in simple terms, if you weigh 140 pounds, you likely need 75 to 100 grams of protein per day. That is substantially more than what most older adults actually eat. And here is the key. You need to spread that protein throughout the day. Your body can only use so much protein at once for muscle building, roughly 25 to 40 grams per meal. So 3 protein-rich meals, rather than one big protein meal at dinner, is far more effective. Every single food on our list today is high in protein, or helps you absorb and use protein more effectively. Eggs in the morning, salmon or chicken at lunch, beef or Greek yogurt in the evening, bone broth as a snack, nuts throughout the day. That is how you protect your muscle. That is how you protect your independence. Let's do a quick recap together. We covered a lot today, and I want to make sure you leave here with it all clearly in hand. Number 1, eggs. Complete protein, brain-supporting choline, eye-protecting antioxidants. 1 or 2 a day is a wonderful habit. Number 2, fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, anti-inflammatory omega-3s, muscle preservation, brain health. Aim for 2 to 3 servings a week. Number 3, leafy greens, spinach, kale, collards, vitamin K for bones, magnesium for sleep and muscles, nitrates for blood pressure. Cooked or raw every day if possible. Number 4, avocado. Heart-healthy fat, potassium, fiber. Half a day is a perfect portion. Number 5, chicken thighs. Juicy, tender, packed with complete protein and B vitamins. Easier to cook and easier to chew than white meat. Number 6, beef and red meat. B12, zinc, creatine. For brain health, immune strength, and muscle energy. A few times a week. Number 7, full-fat Greek yogurt. Slow-release protein, probiotics, calcium. Plain, with no added sugar. Number 8, nuts and seeds. Walnuts for the brain, almonds for bones, pumpkin seeds for sleep. A small handful a day. Number 9, extra virgin olive oil. Oleocanthal for inflammation, polyphenols for the brain, essential for absorbing fat-soluble vitamins. 1 or 2 tablespoons daily. Number 10, bone broth. Collagen for joints and skin, glycine for sleep, minerals for bones. Sip it warm, cook with it, make it your new comfort drink. And the most important message of all, eat enough protein spread across all 3 meals every single day. This is the single most powerful nutritional step you can take to preserve your strength, your balance, and your independence. You have everything you need right here. None of these foods are exotic or expensive. You don't need a special diet plan or a nutritionist's appointment to start. You can begin tomorrow morning with 2 scrambled eggs cooked in olive oil with a handful of spinach folded in. That is a perfect, powerful first step. You know, I think about the people who watch these videos, and I feel a real tenderness toward all of you, because I know what it feels like to wonder whether your best years are behind you. I know what it feels like to look in the mirror and see someone moving more slowly, tiring more easily, needing a little more help than before. I've had those moments too. But I also know from my own life, from the research I've read, from the letters and the comments so many of you send me, that what we eat has a profound effect on how we feel, how we move, and how much life we have left to live fully. You are not too old to get stronger. You are not too old to sharpen your thinking. You are not too old to protect your health and your independence. At 81, I am living proof of that. Start with one food, just one. Put it in your cart this week. Eat it a few times. Notice how you feel. That's all it takes to begin. And if you have someone in your life, a spouse, a sibling, a dear friend, who you think might benefit from knowing about these foods, please share this video with them. It costs nothing, and it might matter more than you know. I love hearing from you. So please drop a comment below and tell me, which food on this list are you most excited about? Or is there a food you've already been eating that's on this list? Let me know. I truly love reading every one of your messages. And one more thing before you go. Coming up very soon, I'm putting together a video on the 10 best exercises for seniors that you can do sitting down. No equipment, no gym, no getting up and down from the floor. These are gentle, safe movements that strengthen your legs, your core, and your balance, all from the comfort of your own chair. If that sounds like something you'd like to see, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Just tap that button right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take good care of yourself. You deserve it. I'll talk to you soon.